You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I don't think anybody's surprised that maybe Belichick and Robert Kraft are not seeing eye to eye. Did I think that they were randomly going to have a war publicly out of nowhere? Man, can we just keep it real here? Belichick's had a lot of public issues over the last 6 months, whether it's Jordan Hudson and his CBS interview and his book and that whole nightmare, the how did they meet, how did they not meet? I thought we knew how they met. She's so much younger than him. Of course, North Carolina, them coming out saying, yeah, there's nothing to do with football here, and then you got emails that say otherwise. There's been a lot of controversy. There has been. And now you have Robert Kraft that made comments about Bill Belichick, and Belichick has said, nah, bitch, I'm going to answer these comments. I'm not letting this slide. I mean, the fact is, I don't know if you want to call it a big risk, but anytime you hire anybody, there is some kind of risk involved, regardless of who it is, you know? I mean, seriously. Regardless of who it is, no matter what their track record is. Now, some risk may be smaller than others, but there is a risk. Well, Belichick is saying, no, I took a risk taking the damn job. All right. I don't know if there's a winner in this debate. Look, Bill Belichick's the GOAT of head coaches. So I'm going to tend to lean in his direction. But on this particular argument, I don't know if there is a quote-unquote winner to the situation. I hate to see the two guys not getting along because I think, a lot like Tom Brady, Robert Kraft should put Bill Belichick straight into the Patriots Hall of Fame. But you've got a billionaire who's got an ego, and you got the arguable greatest head coach of all time who's got a big ego. And now they're clashing. I can only imagine how they were clashing when Belichick was still there. That's the interesting story that hasn't come out. Is how much were these two not getting along in the last, let's say, 36 months that Bill was still around? Maybe longer. Bill Belichick has rarely reacted publicly to comments made about him by Patriots owner Robert Kraft since the two men parted ways 18 months ago after a remarkable 24-year NFL dynasty in New England. But on the heels of recent comments by Kraft that he, quote, took a big risk by hiring Belichick in '99, Belichick has responded to this in a statement to ESPN that it was he who took the big risk by joining a flailing franchise with few resources that was $10 million over the cap. Quote, as I told Robert multiple times through the years, I took a big risk by taking the New England Patriots head coaching job. Belichick told ESPN in response to questions. So evidently he's told Kraft this to his face. Quote, I already had an opportunity to be a head coach of the New York Jets, but the ownership situation was unstable. Belichick said he was urged by scores of people to reject Kraft's offer and remain with the Jets, who had just hired him despite the instability. Quote, I had been warned by multiple previous Patriot coaches, as well as other members of the NFL organization and the media, that the New England John was going to come with many internal obstacles. Other coaches. One of those coaches wouldn't happen to be Bill Parcells, would it? Question mark? Just wondering. Belichick said, I made it clear that we would have to change the way the team was managed to regain previously attained success. Asked during a recent appearance to name his best decision in 3 decades, as Patriots owner, Kraft immediately mentioned his decision in 1999 to hire Belichick, and he took a big risk to do it. The one that got questioned the most was in 99. He said on the Dudes on Dude podcast, I still have never listened to that, I gave up a number 1 draft pick for a coach that had only won a little over 40% of his games to get him out, Kraft said. I don't know if there are any Jets fans here. I think getting Bill Belichick to come to the Patriots was a big risk, and I got hammered in the Boston area. But he was with us for 24 years, and we did okay. A certain first ballot Hall of Famer, Belichick compiled a 266 and 121 record for the Patriots, 17 AFC East titles, 13 times in the AFC Championship game, and won a record 6 Super Bowls. Belichick declined to name the previous coaches. He said that warned him to stay away. One was likely Bill Parcells, Belichick's mentor and former boss, who criticized Kraft's outsized role in personnel decisions after he left the Patriots in '96. Belichick also did not detail the many internal obstacles he faced when he first was working for Kraft. One was a 2000 Patriots team that was $10 million over the salary cap. For the Patriots, exceeding the cap was an anomaly. New England ranks 31 out of 32 teams in spending since the NFL instituted the salary cap in '94, a challenge Belichick overcome as coach through his ruthless management of the roster. Quote, I appreciated Robert giving me the opportunity to make those changes and build a program that was consistent with my vision for a championship team. Asked by ESPN why he felt Kraft's statements now that hiring him was a big risk, he said, quote, you'll have to ask Robert. God, man. They are not, y'all aren't getting along too well now, are you? Question mark. Not well at all. And look, these owners always want a bigger piece of the appreciation. I mean, we're talking billionaires. They got egos, massive egos. Jerry Jones, perfect example. Jerry Jones' ego literally got in the way of keeping what I think could have went down as potentially the greatest head coach of all time had Jerry Jones not run him off, and that's Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys. Hell, they might have won. Well, I can tell you this. They'd have won 4 in a row probably, and maybe 5 or 6 in a row. That Dallas team and Jimmy Johnson, he knew what he was doing. But Jerry Jones, he wanted that credit. He can't hire a big-name coach because he can't get his ego out of the way. You know, I don't know. It's crazy. And let's be honest, Robert Kraft hadn't made all the greatest decisions in the world anyway. That Jerod Mayo hire, oof. What's the sound they always play on Boston radio? I mean, yeah. It's not good. The Mayo groan. You're always going to give Belichick and Brady the credit here, right? Yes, Robert Kraft deserves credit for bringing it all together and doing the hiring. I get that. But you got to have somebody that can X and O's coach the team, and you got to have a quarterback. And Bill made some hard-ass choices, especially early, you know. But, yeah, it was a risk. I mean, you know, Belichick didn't exactly light the world on fire with Cleveland. Although I believe that had they stuck with him, he was going to end up turning Cleveland around too. You know, if they, didn't go off to Baltimore. Yikes. Tell me what you think. I didn't have a full-on war between Kraft and Belichick on my bingo card this week. Peace, I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store, our Make Basketball Great Again shirt, and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. And use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.